Good morning, students. Myself, Dr. Ganesham Chavan. Today we are having presentation on nutrition and health. In that, whatever food we will intake, on that basis we will discuss this today's lecture. So, in this, we will discuss nutrients. What is nutrient? Its definition. After that, classification of nutrients. What are the various nutrients which are available? Sources, role, functions, deficiency, disorders of nutrients, and prevention of deficiency disorders of nutrients. Now we will discuss definition. Nutrients are nothing but the organic or inorganic substances present or contained in food which is required or necessary for growth and maintenance functions of the body. For example, protein, vitamins. Now, whatever food we are taking daily, so it is requirement for our growth, our repairment, if anything will be lost. For example, in case of any disease, if our blood count will be decreased or platelets will be decreased, or our wasting of muscle has been occurred, or during the summer season the dehydration will occur. So all these things will be counterbalanced by our food, whatever food we are taking in daily. Another definition: nutrients are organic or inorganic substances present or contained in food which is required or necessary for growth and maintenance of functions of body. So in that, again, these proteins, vitamins in that milk, after that apple, and non-veg materials are also available here. Here another definition: it is nothing but the chemical substances found in food that cannot be synthesized at all or in sufficient amounts in the body and necessary for life, growth, and tissue repair. So in this session, various scientists have defined nutrients according to their experience and research. Now nutrients. Now nutrients are having several classification. For example, first, proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, vitamins, minerals, and water. Means water contains several macronutrients like vitamins or minerals. Here you can see. Now nutrients are having the types. First is macronutrients, which we can see by your eyes, they are large in size, and macronutrients, they are very smaller in size and we require that in trace quantity, not in large quantity, but they are having vital role in our body development and also our body requirement. If any macronutrients will be lack in our body, it will develop into several diseases. Now another classification of nutrients on the basis of requirement, it is macronutrients. Macro means large nutrients needed in large amounts, nutrients that provide calories or energy needed for growth, metabolism, and for other body functions. It includes carbohydrates, fats, and oils, and proteins. Whereas the second class is nothing but the micronutrients. Macro means small or little. The nutrients needed in small amount or trace amount, necessary for the healthy functioning of all your body system, from growth, bone growth, to brain function, and also several functions which occurs in our body. For example, in our kidney process, in process of filtration, in case of the respiration, the various elements are required. It includes the minerals and vitamins. Minerals means various electrolytes which we are taking in daily life in the form of food or in the form of fruits, and various vitamins like vitamin A, B, C, D, E, K. Now here in this chart, students, we can see here the macronutrients and the macronutrients are in very good manner, they has been displayed. So in that, here you can see the at the left side, water, saturated and unsaturated fats, proteins, they are complete and incomplete, carbohydrates, simple and complex carbohydrates, where at the right hand side you can see vitamins. In that, vitamin A, vitamin B, in that various classes are the vitamin B1, B2, B3, B6, B12, vitamin C, vitamin D, and folates. And in another minerals, there are the trace elements which are required in very small quantity, but they are needy elements for our body regular functioning. In that, first is calcium, phosphorus, iron, sodium, iodine, and fluoride. So these are the trace elements which require for our body. Now, for example, calcium requires for our process of coagulation, whereas this phosphorus required for our metabolism process. The sodium are required for our process of ion channels, the receptor level they required. Iodine required for our thyroid. In our thyroid gland there is major role of iodine. Like this, or iron required for our development of rbc production. So in this fashion, the various elements like that, the various vitamins also required for various daily requirements. Now here carbohydrates. Now carbohydrates, if you'll see, either in case of fruits or vegetables, or in case of the manufactured products, they are available, and we are taking that carbohydrate in the form of food or vegetables. Carbohydrates are saccharides and are the most abundant of the four major classes of biomolecules. Carbohydrates provide the largest single source of energy in the diet. They providing 4 kilocalorie per gram and satisfied our institutional instinctual desire for sweetness. It is nothing but it is the natural desire of human being to have a sweet elements get ingested into the body. So daily requirement of that carbohydrate is there, that we are taking daily. Carbohydrates are substance having the empirical formula CH2OXY. For example, C6H2O6 means glucose. Now here we can see the formula of glucose, fructose. Glucose is C6H12O6, fructose C6H12O6, sucrose C12H22, and O11. So these are the various forms of sugars or carbohydrates which are available, and we are taking them in the form of fruits, fruit juice, or in the form of wheat, rice, or any manufactured products which can be obtained or prepared. Source of carbohydrates. The main source of carbohydrates are starch, sugars, cellulose, and glycogen. In that sources of carbohydrates, the simple carbohydrates. These simple carbohydrates are found in foods such as fruits, milk, and vegetables. And in the preparation, they can be formed in cake, candy, other refined sugar products, are simple sugars which are also provide energy but lack vitamins, minerals, and fibers. And this type of carbohydrates are prepared from the natural sources. Some can be prepared from fruits or their flavors, or can be prepared from the milk, or the carbohydrate which can be obtained from the various sources of fruits or vegetables. Now another source of carbohydrates, it is nothing but the complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates provide vitamins, minerals, and fibers, and these are very healthy. They require for our body, they require for our digestion purpose. Food such as breads, legumes, rice, pasta, and starchy vegetables contains complex carbohydrates. They are manufactured products from the natural sources. They are nothing but the artificial sources of carbohydrates, but they are not good for our health, for your dietary system. Now the classification of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are having two types: simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. The simple carbohydrates contains the monosaccharides, for example glucose, fructose, galactose, and disaccharides, for example sucrose, lactose, and maltose. Now, in case of complex carbohydrates, the saccharides contains oligosaccharides, for example human milk oligosaccharides, and second is polysaccharides, for example starch, glycogen, and dietary fibers. Now we will switch over towards the functions of carbohydrates. Here the various functions of carbohydrates are available. In that, first is the main function of carbohydrate is it is nothing but the source of energy. It provides energy, means it provides the glucose, and glucose will get converted into the ATP, and that ATP molecule required for each and every functioning of our body. For example, for respiration, for filtration, for the function of heart, for the function of skin, for the brain, for the nerves, for the nephrons, everywhere, whatever the interstitial cell which is working in our body, it requires that glucose, it requires that energy, ATP molecule. Without that, the process cannot be channelized. Even in case of the metabolic processes, it requires the ATP. The numbers of ATP molecules has been consumed into the metabolic processes. Also in case of the respiratory processes, the carbohydrates provide fuel for central nervous system. The nerves, the neurons generally cannot burn fat and need glucose for energy. And you might be aware of that almost 20% of the carbohydrate whatever we are taking, it can be consumed by our central nervous system, by our brain. They require that much amount of carbohydrates for the firing of neurons, for the impulse generation, impulse processing. In that process they require these carbohydrates. The carbohydrates and their derivatives play a major role in the working process of immune system as well. For example, in case of the macrophages, in case of the antibody and antigen reactions, we require carbohydrates. Also in case of the fertilization process, in case of the blood clotting, also we require these carbohydrates. Also in case of the development from the childhood toward the adulthood, whatever process of development has been occurred, in that there is a great role of carbohydrates. And after the adulthood also, for the cell requirement, for the continued damage and repairment process, carbohydrate is having great role. Another functions of carbohydrates, it is essential for synthesis of certain amino acids. The amino acids which are required for the development of the protein, and the proteins are required for the development of the muscles. It also required for the development of the various enzymes, various hormones in our body at regular basis. Essential for oxidation of fats. It is also one of the main function of our carbohydrates. Diets high in carbohydrates are usually associated with the lower prevalence of the obesity and heart disease, non-insulin dependent diabetes. So in that, high diet carbohydrates are usually associated with the lower prevalence, means they will lower the chances of obesity, heart disease like coronary artery disease or premental angina, or non-insulin means diabetes mellitus. Carbohydrates helps in digestion and in preventing constipation, because they are channelizing the process of digestive system, they are increasing the process of metabolism, and due to which they will also enhance the process of elimination of the that waste material from our body, due to which the constipation can be avoided mainly by absorbing water and increasing the bulk of the diet and stool. So in this fashion, they are also very good for our digestive system. Dietary fibers, important constituents of food. For example, pectin, insulin, they found in the vegetables. They are of two types, cellulose and non-cellulose, also classified as the insoluble and soluble. Dietary fibers are very good element for our digestion, and they also require for the to increase the rate of evacuation of bile from the body. So they will increase the rate of the defecation, means they will avoid the constipation as well. Dietary fibers all degraded in microflora of GIT and increase bulk of stool. They also reduce the tendency of constipation and also having cholesterol level lowering activity, due to which they can decrease the chances of atherosclerosis, because they will absorb that cholesterol and they will remove it from the body. Otherwise the cholesterol will revolve into our blood cells and they can deposit on the wall of our blood vessels or artery, and after that deposition will occur and the sclerosis or hardening of our blood vessels may occur, and which may revert into the various heart diseases. Also important for the fat reduction, useful in patients with hypertension and diabetes. So these fibers are very important for our health. They also reduce the fat, means they will try to decrease the chances of obesity, because nowadays obese become obese is very common, and if you will take these dietary fibers, it will help you to decrease your obesity, to decrease your unnecessary body weight. Deficiency disease of carbohydrates. The dietary carbohydrate is insufficient glucose synthesis dependent on the breakdown. The long-term carbohydrate inadequacy result in increased production of organic compounds called ketone. Recommended intake of carbohydrates. The Food and Agriculture Organization and World Health Organization jointly recommended that 55 to 75% of total energy intake should be from carbohydrates, but only 10% directly from the sugar or simple carbohydrates. Now we will discuss regarding the dietary proteins. Now we have completed the carbohydrates. Now we will go for the proteins. Now here you can see in this slide, students, these are the various forms of proteins that we are taking in daily life. In that, cereals or non-veg, flesh, meat, egg or yogurt, paneer. So these are the various prepared uh, prepared elements that we can use as a dietary protein in our daily life. Now definition. Proteins are high molecular weight polypeptides containing alpha amino acids joined together by the peptide linkage, that is CONH. Dietary proteins. The word protein means that which is of first importance. Protein are complex organic nitrogenous compounds containing nitrogen and often sulfur in addition to carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. For an adult man, WHO, who weight is 70 kg, about 16% of body weight is made by protein, that is about 11 kg, and with 43% in muscles and 16% in blood and 15% in skin. So it is the normal contribution of our body weight. So how much percentage or how much weight is for protein? So it is almost 11 kg. Now classification of dietary proteins. Biologically, complete protein contains all the amino acids needed to build a new proteins. Animal sources of protein tend to be complete. Biologically incomplete proteins lack one or more amino acids that the body can't make at all to create by modifying another amino acids. Means here the one amino acid is able to modify and develop into the another amino acids. So it is regular process which occurs in our body. Amino acids. Amino acids are nothing but the building blocks of proteins. The amino acids are linked in chain through the peptide bonds. There are 20 amino acids required for protein synthesis and are divided into two groups. First is essential amino acids, which cannot be synthesized by the body. For example, lysine, tryptophan, etc. And there are the several non-essential amino acids which can be synthesized by the body. For example, alanine, serine. Now here we will see the list of essential amino acids. There are 9 essential amino acids which includes leucine, isoleucine, lysine, methionine, threonine, valine, tryptophan, phenylalanine and histidine. So these are the 9 essential amino acids which our body can't prepare. So we have to take these amino acids from the external sources. For example, from the animal source or from the natural or from the plant source. So whatever the source we can get these amino acids that we should get. It is the daily requirement for these amino acids for our development of the muscles or for also development of the various types of cells which are required for various organs, their repairment, various uh, various enzymes, also for the various hormones we require these amino acids. Now various sources of proteins. So there are the various sources of proteins, for example, natural source or artificial source. In the natural source, in that meat, fish, or the plant, from the plants, from the animals, from the animal source, for example, we are getting the milk or cheese or paneer, or from the natural sources, for example, various grains, cereals, wheat, and also another sources like vegetables. In that spinach is there, various green vegetables, various fruits which contains the proteins, mostly the dicotyledon, in which the grains are there, they are having these proteins. So in this fashion the various natural and artificial sources are there which can produce this protein, and we can develop them into the various products. And from these sources we can also isolate the various amino acids, and we can develop certain supplements which can be used by the various athletes, or it can be used by the various wrestlers for development of their muscles and to increase their stamina and their various body development which we require. So in that they are having great role. Now sources of protein. Humans obtain from two main dietary sources. The first is animal source. For example, milk, egg, meat, cheese, fish, poultry, and butter. And the plant source. For example, pulses, cereals, beans, nuts, and oil seeds. So these are the major two sources from which we can obtain protein. Now we will discuss the functions of protein. The functions of protein include growth and development of the body, maintenance, repair, and replacement of the damaged tissue. Because in daily functioning, there is always the damage of our blood vessels or damage of our various organs like liver, or damage of our various cells of our GIT which may occurs, and continuously the repairment process also going on simultaneously. So for that there is requirement of protein, and also the protein is required for our muscle development. Either it may be skeletal muscle, or it may be our the muscle which we require for our various processes. The part of metabolic and digestive enzymes and hormones. In our hormones and enzymes also the proteins are required. For example, various proteolytic enzymes which are available into our pancreas or into our liver. So these enzymes also require the proteins, and also various metabolic processes they require the protein. And now we are also having several hormones, for example thyroid hormone, or the hormones like testosterone or progesterone or estrogen. So these hormones or ACTs, so these hormones also require the protein. Also protein is very widely used for the development of the DNA. It also requires the protein. Maintenance of osmotic pressure. The osmotic pressure can be maintained into the kidney. So it is constantly maintained by our protein, because protein requirement is there for the counterbalance of your osmotic pressure. The proteins are essential for our immunity also, because it is also required for the development of the various white blood cells, for the development of the macrophages, antibody developments. So likewise, ultimately it also require or essential element for the immunity. Protein can also supply energy. It almost give 4 kilocalorie of per gram for your daily requirements. So in this fashion, these are the various functions of protein which can be done on regular basis. Now we will discuss regarding the deficiency of protein. What are the various deficiency of protein? In that, first is Kwashiorkor disease. In that, the symptoms are edema, mental changes, poor appetite, depigmentation of skin and hair, or growth retardation. So in this case, the person mostly in that the child are having scarcity of protein, in which the mental deterioration will occur, and poor appetite means person is not able to eat completely. He is having less appetite, due to which less diet he will take, and due to that the dyspigmentation of skin will occur, and hair and growth will retard. Next disease is marasmus. It also occurs in case of the children who are from the remote places. The severe muscle wasting will occur, and severe growth retardation also will occur, and marked by wasting of skin and bones, and diarrhea. Costly diarrhea will occur. Means whatever food you are taking, that not going to be digest and not going to be absorbed into our body. And there is also fat loss will occur from your skin, from the subcutaneous layer of your skin. The fat will loss will occur, and also muscle loss will occur from all over the your skeletal muscle, from all over your the from the body part. The muscle will be lost, due to which the body weight also will going to be decline. Now Kwashiorkor disease. It is the extreme lack of protein causes an osmotic imbalance into the gastrointestinal system, causing swelling of gut, diagnosed as a edema or retention of the water. So this is the this is the image that you can see, that child is suffering from this Kwashiorkor disease. That disease is prolonged from the child. The child who is not taking protein diet from the childhood, he may suffer from this disease. You can see the edema has been occurred, means that person is lacking the protein, and due to which the osmotic imbalance of gastrointestinal system will occur, and also muscle wasting has been occur. Next is marasmus. It is a form of severe malnutrition characterized by the energy deficiency. See in this figure you can see the completely malnutrition has been occur, the muscle wasting has been occur, and also the mental deterioration has been occur. So these type of cases you will found in the tribal areas, the areas where not a balanced diet has been followed, and these children are not getting sufficient diet to have their normal process of their body. So in this fashion, students, today we have completed up to protein. So in next lecture we will see the remaining part, in that fat and the minerals that we will cover. So for today it is sufficient, and in next lecture we will see all these things. So goodbye for today. Thanks a lot. Bye.